Sarah Sullivan is a tenured networking professional with 27 plus years of experience in planning, implementing, and maintaining telecom networks. In addition to her role as advisor for the Broadband Council, she also serves as managing director of Gaze Technologies, a small business networking engineering firm. Throughout her telecommunications career, Sarah has held both individual contributor and people leader roles at MCI, Cavalier, and Telefiber, Paytech, Windstream, and Gaze Technologies. Sarah has been the recipient of multiple engineering awards throughout her tenure, such as MCI Summit Club Award and Windstream's Networking Engineering Distinguished Service Award. Sarah's most recent career focus includes spearheading the implementation and management of an equipment lifecycle management program. This program utilizes data analytics to assess and efficiently decommission end-of-life network inventory. Sarah has been deeply committed to promoting innovation in both the workplace and the broader community since 2019. She has served as a member of Windstream's Culture, Innovation, and Belonging Committee, chair and board member for a woman-focused employee research group, and is a member of the Society of Women Engineers Mentoring Committee. Sarah earned her BS in psychology from the University of Mary Washington, her MS in Information Systems Technology from Coastal Carolina University. Additionally, she is recognized as a published author. Wired for Success, Women, Broadband, and the AI Advantage. Broadband is the infrastructure of possibility and AI career paths and breaking down barriers for women. As you know, AI has become a huge topic. And so Sarah is going to give us a little bit of an overview as to what's happening. She's been part of the broadband that has been put here in town and around our community. So Sarah, thank you.
Good morning. Thank you for that introduction, Kelly. It's really nice to be here. It's always nice for me to be at the water. Anytime I can be anywhere near water, it's a happy place for me. So Kelly gave a good introduction, so I'm not gonna go through all that, but there's one thing to add that's probably most important, and that I am Karen Sullivan's youngest daughter. So Karen is very active in the community here in Colonial Beach, and I'm really happy to be here and to be able to speak to everyone today. Okay, so let's talk about why I'm here today. Kelly, gave a little bit of an introduction there, but I'm really going to talk about how women-owned businesses can better understand broadband and AI, and how they work together, and how to use them for your company or your personal success. But first, I'm going to explain to you why I gave you quarters when you walked in. So those quarters are very special. They are, each of them had a woman on them. They are part of the Women's Quarters program that the U.S. Mint put together and launched in 2022, and is in, they're still minting them through this year, so 2025. So each year they minted up to 5 women, and I think after 2025, I would love to see them continue, but I don't know if they are. So part of my mission is to make everyone aware of the program. They are in circulation, and I was able to give you 2 today. So my mission for you is to keep one, but then to put one into circulation. I'm going to tell you a little bit about the 3 that you have, the 3 that I chose today to hand out. So you'll have one. You could have a combination since you have 2. But the first one is Ida B. Wells. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about Ida B. Wells. She was a prolific educator, an investigative journalist, a suffragist, and a civil rights activist. She fought for justice and equality through her life and used her powerful voice to expose violence against African Americans in the late 19th and early 20th century. So some of you will have Ida B. Wells. The next one is Eleanor Roosevelt. Eleanor Roosevelt was one of our most active and influential first ladies. She was an author, a reformer, civil liberties and human rights advocate, and the first American woman delegate to the United Nations. She was also a member of the first delegation to the UN. And then the last one that you may have is Patsy Takimoto Meek. Patsy was a member of Congress. She's also the Honorable Patsy Takimoto Meek, and she fought for gender and racial equality, affordable child care, and bilingual education. Meek was a champion of the Title VI, I think I'm reading that right, IX, is that 6? Is that 9? Sorry, 9. Title IX legislation in Congress prohibiting sex discrimination in any education program or activity receiving federal financial assistance. Title IX was posthumously renamed the Patsy T. Meek Equal Opportunity and Education Act. So, amazing ladies, and if you get an opportunity, go to the US Mint website and just search on Women's Quarters Program. I bought my quarters off of that website. They are more than face value, I'm not sure why, but you can buy them there, but there's some that you can't buy anymore. So, you know, it's kind of like once they're out, they're out. Okay? All right. Use one hand here. All right, I've got a question for you, for the audience here. How many of you rely on broadband every day for your business or personal life? Okay. How many of you rely on the internet for your business and personal life every day? Okay. So broadband is internet. That can be confusing. I didn't know this until a handful of years ago because of the way the term is being used, and I'll explain to you. That's part of why I'm here today, is to kind of give you a little bit of tools that you can have with you as you work with in your business, and you're talking to providers, and you're having issues with your internet, some things that can empower you and help you improve that experience. My next question is, how many of you are using ChatGPT, Perplexity, Microsoft Copilot, or another generative AI tool like every day? Like most of you. Yeah. So most of you, but some not. So that's good. Did you know that without broadband, these tools, these AI tools, they don't work well, and in some cases, they will not work at all. So that is really why they come together as one. So let's talk about broadband first. Broadband is internet access at a speed defined by the FCC. So broadband is actually a government term, and the definition has changed as the FCC has changed the requirements on what speeds should be broadband. The terms change. So that's one of the reasons why it can be a little bit confusing. So just know that broadband is a term that the FCC uses to define a service that they'll provide funding to. And it goes back to funding. Historically, in 1996, when this term was originally coined, it was defined as 200 kilobits per second. So 200 kilobits per second is 20% of 1 meg. So if you hear, you talk about 100 meg, 200 meg, 300 meg. So back in 1996, broadband as 100 milliseconds or megabytes, meg is what you'll hear me call it, 100 meg download, 20 meg upload, and latency that is less than 100 milliseconds round trip. So that is the official definition of broadband. But really, it's just the internet. It's internet connectivity. That's what broadband is. I mentioned, it being a government term, and the reason that it's important is because the government does provide funding to improve the broadband experience, all over the nation. There's been funding programs out for years. The current one is called BEAD, and you have this handout that I gave you, and this is so you don't have to take notes, but this is really to help you be informed and to be able to talk about broadband in terms that the government will understand, whether it's your local government or your state government or even, the federal government. So the current program is called BEAD, and that stands for Broadband Equity Access and Deployment Program. Within that program, there's 3 definitions to help people understand whether you qualify for funding or not. And again, this is important for you all. These terms that I'm going to go through are important as you talk to your broadband providers, because if you use these terms, it'll probably catch their eye, and you're speaking in more educated terms that they may be able to respond to. So the first term is unserved. So your household would be considered unserved if your internet speeds are less than 25 meg down and 3 meg up. And I've done some testing in the community, and there are definitely some unserved homes in this community. Underserved. Underserved is anything that's below that 100 meg marker download or 20 meg upload and over 100 milliseconds latency. So that's going to be unserved. And then served. Served means you're meeting the requirements your household, and a lot of this has to do with residential, not necessarily your businesses, but residential to be funding, although there's business built in there. But it's majority to get internet connectivity to every household in the country, because as we all know, when you have internet connectivity, you can prosper. So served, the definition is it meets or exceeds the 100 down, 20 up, and is less than 100 milliseconds latency. Again, in this community, we've done some small tests, and surprisingly, this community is marked served in the databases. The whole entire community is marked served. But we've done some testing that leads us to believe that's not true, and that's part of what the Broadband Council is doing and working with the town to collect more data, get that over to the FCC, and get that status changed from served to underserved. Because the majority of this community, with the research that we did, we're making an assumption that a lot of this community is underserved and that you should qualify for BEAD funding, but right now, you don't. However, as individuals, there are things that you can do. Like you can actually go into the FCC website, and there is a way to, you do have to run tests, and you have to do them in a certain manner. So there's a little bit of work behind it, but you can upload your results, and you can, what's called a challenge. You're challenging the provider, which in this location is majority is BreezeLine, is your broadband provider, and you're putting in that challenge. So if you're, if you're really inspired, I can help you with that individually. Just let me know, and you can actually, while we're kind of waiting for the community, because it is a slow process, to do wider testing, get that uploaded and get it the challenge, and then BreezeLine will come back and they'll say, oh no, they'll try to challenge the challenge. All of that will happen. But the whole goal is for this community to be reflected appropriately with the level of internet service it has. And again, from our research, we've determined that it is not accurate, absolutely, and this community should qualify for BEAD funding. Okay, let's see. Let me go through, prior to BEAD, just so you know, there was some additional funding too, so this is not new. Just trying to give you, again, some background information. There are programs that are called RDOF, CAF, CAF2. These are all prior BEAD programs. So internet access has been funded for a very long time from the federal government. So it's just good to know that, and it's time for Colonial Beach to be able to benefit from that. Okay, now let's talk about AI. So this one's probably going to be a little more interesting. Not as many terms. So AI is actually not a government-defined term. AI is a very broad term. And what you probably hear, when you hear AI today, what people are probably referring to is generative AI. So it's that ChatGPT, the Copilot, the Perplexity. which are amazing tools. They're absolutely amazing. They've only been around for a couple years, for the regular person to be able to use them. And I just launched my own small business in December of last year after working in corporate telecom for 27 years. And let me tell you what, ChatGPT has been my best friend. It's been amazing. It's really helped me, outline, the first drafts of policies, spreadsheets, understanding legal terms. Like I needed to respond to something legally, and it gave me some legalese to use, right? So it's not going to replace an attorney, but using those terms, again, just like using the broadband terms, can be very powerful when you're responding or talking to others that you're trying to get a response out of. So it's been amazing. AI is also not a new term. So ironically, a few months ago, I was watching an old episode of MacGyver, 1985. I grew up in the 80s. I love 80s shows. Magnum P.I., MacGyver, the best. So this show took place at a secret government facility, of course. And within that facility, there was a scientist, a female scientist, who had created this program to run the facility, and she called it artificial intelligence. It was in 1985. I was 10. So this term's been around for a really long time. So just understand that too. The way we use it today when people talk about it is usually generative AI, but the term's been around for a really long time. It'll probably continue to grow and morph, and we'll be calling other things AI as well. But it's not new. So how do AI and broadband work together? Well, AI runs on servers that sit in data centers. You guys, I'm sure everybody's familiar with data center now. So your AI sits on servers, which is equipment within these data centers, but you have to have the connectivity back and forth to be able to grab that information and bring it back to your home or your business, and that's where broadband comes into place. So the better broadband you have, in the future, the better AI experience I think you're gonna have. Like right now, there are limits. I try to really push ChatGPT, and sometimes it just shuts down on me. I don't know, has anybody had that experience? Where where it's just like, sorry, you've done too much. It doesn't say that, but it just won't respond to for me, it keeps just giving me the same answer. Is that your experience?
Well, one time I just kept on doing the same thing, or like changing things where I didn't want it, and I'm like, I'm done. That's it, I'm done with this, I'm just gonna stop. And I was like talking to the phone and saying it, and then, okay, I understand, is this what you want? And then if we did, I'm like, that's exactly what I want.
Wow.
Yeah, you have to give it like you have to tell it about you.
It's about
tell it your whole story, and then it gets to know you, and it talks like you, and it really
Yes.
kind of knows you after a while.
Yes. It's strange, and we'll talk about some of the risks there too in a minute. So it's good. It's got pros and cons for sure. All right, let me flip my page here. All right, let's talk about us as women and AI and work. So as women, generally speaking, we juggle a lot of things. So AI can handle some of those things, some of those repetitive things that are, don't give you energy. I'm all for it. You use AI for those things to help relieve yourself a little bit.
Sarah, can you
Yeah.
give us an example? Because I know for myself, I grew up in the corporate world, I did a lot of office stuff, and since I've been here, we've struggled a little bit with internet services and some of our providers. But having a business, I've just started using ChatGPT because have gone after a couple of grants, which really helped me because I struggle with writing. I can speak to it, I can't just always get it from here into whatever the form may be. How can AI help us as a small business, or how
Yes, and you're a little bit ahead of me.
Oh, sorry.
That's okay. We're gonna get right there, but no, that's really good feedback. So as we talk about it more, we'll make sure, because I'm gonna ask the audience for examples, and everybody, they may have some answers for you too. And I'm right there with you, Kelly. It's the next thing I'm gonna talk about, but I just wanna say this one thing first. So women, again, this is generally speaking, can be perfectionists. We wanna do things to 100%. And I only learned, I don't know, less than 5 years ago, oh, I don't really have to do things to 100%. Like I had a manager tell me that. I'm like, really? Like that's a thing? And he was like, yeah, do it to 80 and then move on. I was like, wow, okay. But as women, we tend to do 100%. So use ChatGPT to get you 80%, Kelly, with that grant writing. Get it to your 80%, and then put your 20% in of your own energy, your own time, outside ChatGPT to make it yours and get it to that 100%. So that's just a general example. So here's some ways that AI has helped me as my small business that I'm sharing with you. Drafting social media posts, blogs and emails, social media posts, really helpful. Like, I'm on LinkedIn a lot. That's my only platform. And a lot of times when you're posting something on LinkedIn, you all may be familiar, it doesn't let you really do font. It doesn't let you do like a whole lot of fancy stuff. Well, you can actually do it in ChatGPT, where you can have your, tell it what you want, right? You can give it the background, tell it what kind of post you want, tell it you're doing it on LinkedIn, and tell it to put it in a font that you're looking for, that'll actually, when you post it into LinkedIn, that it'll stay there. So you literally tell it that. And I've had success with that. So, especially bolding, like I can't seem to bold anything right in LinkedIn, but it'll do it. It's got some code behind, whatever the text is, and I don't know what it is, but it's got some code that when you actually paste it into LinkedIn, it'll stay bolded, or it'll keep that font you're looking for. So, really good way to use generative AI. Save you a lot of time and frustration. First drafts and templates of contracts, proposals, policies. So I have used this a lot. And again, first draft, right? You really don't ever want to take anything straight out of a generative AI tool and go post it or use it, because it's very likely going to have something in there that you're like, oops, like that's a mistake, or it used a word you didn't want it to use, or things like that. So it is really, really good. It'll save you a ton of time. Summarizing log documents. So I also work in the FedGov space, Kelly. I know you did in your past, and so I look at a lot of RFPs, requests for proposals, that are very long and very complicated. And one of the first things I do is upload it to ChatGPT and I ask it to summarize it for me. It isn't always 100% right. It makes mistakes. So I just wanted to give you a general idea so I know, is it even worth looking at? Is it even worth my time? So you can use it to upload documents, to review them for you, give you a summary. Again, it's not going to be 100% right, but it can give you a good general idea whether you want to put more time and energy into this or not. So that's another way. Brainstorming new services or event titles. Has anybody ever used it for creativity to like give them a title or anything like that? No? It's amazing. How do you think I got the title for this talk? ChatGPT. I put in what I wanted to do, what I wanted to talk about, and it gave me the title for this talk. I traditionally say I'm not a super creative person, but I think it's just that I work in such a non-creative space that I use all my brain power and energy there. So when it comes to creativity, I don't give my mind space for that. So this really helps me with that. Translate technical jargon. So yeah, is there a term you don't understand? Ask ChatGPT, ask Copilot. Building quick budgets, checklists, schedules. Generating graphics and logos. I just created the second phase of my business logo, and chat, I put in my old logo. I told chat that I wanted it to be a next version. It asked me some questions. It wasn't the first output that I had to keep telling it and change this, change that, this is what I want, that's what I want. And it created my new logo for me. And, some people, they may want to create their own logo, like out of scratch, and that's great. That's the other thing. Don't give up your unique thing, what gives you energy, what you're good at. Don't give that up to generative AI. Continue to do that outside of generative AI. We'll talk about some of the safety tips. That's part of it. Do not put anything in there that you don't want to be used. There are some toggles, some things you can switch off. So we'll talk a little bit about that. Hey, if you love to do graphics and logos, keep doing that. Like, don't use chat for that. If that's what you love and that's what you're good at and that's what you're talented at. I actually, when I was creating this logo, I needed a vector version or a high-res version. It kept telling me, this was when it shut down on me. It kept telling me, here's your high-res version, and I would look at it and I'm like, no, it's not. And it would just keep spitting the same thing back out to me. So I was actually talking with my sister Angie about it, and she was giving me some ideas, and I was like, you know what, let me ask ChatGPT if there's a program I can use to, vector this and make it a high res, and it said, yeah, go download Ink something. It's a free program. I downloaded it. I uploaded the image it created for me. I asked how to use the program. It told me how to use the program, Chat did, and I vectored and high res my own image. So
it helped fix itself, kind of.
Yeah. So even though it couldn't do it, it told me how, and it gave me exactly directions to how I could do it. So these are things that I use in my business, so I, could save money as small businesses. We don't have big budgets. It can help with things like that. Now, everything I talked about, I'm going to be a little repetitive here. Everything we do needs to have oversight. You need to review everything that comes out of it, make sure it's really what you want, what you're looking for, because it makes mistakes all the time. Okay, now questions for the audience. What are some things that I didn't mention that you all use generative AI for? Karen?
I just used it the other day. A number of years ago, I took a course with a lawyer who was also a county behaviorist, and it was called Aggression and Law, and everything was...
Yeah, and there's no shame in it. Absolutely no shame at all. So, any other examples the audience would like to share? Go ahead.
I use it for when I'm scaling recipes. So I'll take a recipe, or I'll take a picture of the recipe that I have, and if I need to do it times 20 or 50, something like that. So I'll say this is how many I need to make. But then I have to check the math because, like you said, it's not always correct. And then I do use it for social media posts, and I also use it for just getting ideas, and I use it for marketplace as well too, for negotiating, buying stuff on marketplace, and also translating. So I was translating a pallet tip on marketplace in Spanish. So I was speaking back and forth in Spanish and putting his words in, and then it was translating, but it was like not totally slam Spanish, but in between. So then we went, I told my husband, introduced the Spanish, but we didn't want to use extra in Spanish. So my husband was speaking to him when we went to the tent. So it does a lot. It's very, very useful. I use it all the time there.
I love that Spanish example. It makes me think of if you wanted to post something, you wanted to post in different languages, right? To have it to, yeah, go right ahead. Yes.
I use it a lot. Work with Jan, I started using it more for social media because I wasn't a poster and I needed to be. I use it a lot for itineraries and travel agents, so I compare it with different business managers that I work with, and it's very good. And I take business plans, so I use it for that to give me some structure. Because business plans are hard to construct, so it really is good.
She does.
Which one do you use? What's your favorite? Chat?
I call it chatty.
Yeah, chatty. Awesome. Yep.
So I use it for marketing because I'm in compliance legal all of my life, so I'm not a marketer. But I will take what I want to put out as services and ask it to act as a marketing agent or as a marketing professional to approach, the audience I'm looking at. It does a decent job. The other thing I've done is recently I picked up a client in the glazing industry, which I know nothing about. I generally know what they do, but I don't know the business. And so I asked them to teach me about glazing. Again, good basic information allowed me to go in and have a conversation with the client.
That is amazing. You taught yourself something, right? Now you know more about glazing. And does anybody ever click on the sources and kind of go and try to look at the sources as well? That's, yeah.
I will ask it to cite its sources too, sometimes.
Say that again?
I will ask it to cite its sources.
Oh, yes, yeah.
Cite its sources.
What I like is, so I do the Osprey Festival every year, and so I have to do write-ups and things for different postings, but now I don't have to tell it everything about, this is about the Osprey, Virginia Osprey. It knows me, it knows what I want, and then it'll come back and say, I can put this in this format if you want to do it. Press release, blah, 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 blah. I don't have to tell it everything anymore.
Saving you
Because
even
it
more
knows-
time.
It builds, it knows about me, which just scares me a little
Yeah,
bit.
yeah.
But
It should.
it's great. It's great.
It should. So, anybody else? Yes.
Now, this might be a little controversial because I am against the use of AI. So I might have missed this. Have you so this like the environmental impact?
So she's asking about the environmental impact of AI. So, I'm not an expert, I don't know, I can just talk about this generally and kind of, AI is, we start to use it more, and people are starting to use it more. It's gonna need more capacity, it's gonna need more energy in order to work. So, power usage and infrastructure that has to be built to support it.
A lot of it is about the infrastructure. I find that the growing need for data centers have an extreme need for water, and so it does seriously increase water usage in an area. So much so that it does actually affect water pressure in neighborhood communities.
So
I think we all, probably choose where we put our money, right? Where we're going to spend it. And I think it is important. I thank you for bringing that up because there are a lot of people that are concerned with taking away jobs. My thought is that as it takes away, it'll create new ones, but that's not, it's not going to be the case for everyone. So definitely want to be sensitive to that. Okay, I'm going to wrap this up. How many minutes do I have, Kelly?
it's about 5 minutes. I don't know if you're gonna touch on this, but do you have any preferred tools that you use? I know Bertha mentioned that she uses chat or chatting, as she called it.
Yeah.
I know there's a bunch of different ones.
Yes.
There are ones that are safer to use versus. not.
Yes.
They get it on people.
Yeah, no, practical AI safety tips. I'm going to talk about that. You are on it. Okay. So my preference is ChatGPT. I do a paid version. It's $20 a month, and that is so I can use the temporary feature. So that's one of the things I wanted to talk about. That a lot of these tools. So the ones that I've heard that are the best are ChatGPT and Perplexity, and I've heard Perplexity is really good for citing, and ChatGPT is just kind of good generally. I'm sure the other ones, I haven't worked with them that much, so I can't really speak to them, but that's just what I've heard on the street as well. Okay, so from a little bit of experience and from what other people say. So understanding incognito, private modes, temporary toggles within your generative AI platform that you use is super, super important. And understanding whether in order to use those, you need to upgrade to a paid version or you can get them with a free version. I just encourage you to go into your settings of whatever tool you're using. Look for privacy. Make sure you're looking through all your privacy settings and make sure you're okay with the way it's using whatever you enter in, which is called your data. It's going to use your data to train the model. You'll hear that. These generative AI tools, they use your data to train the model. The model is actually then what feeds back and what comes back to everybody else that uses the tool. So, and if you need help understanding your privacy features or where they're at, I'm sure you could probably ask chat, where is it, right? You could ask, the tool, where is it? But that's super, super, super important. I do a lot of things for my work under temporary, which means that it doesn't save it at all. And things that are you're unique at, that are, your thing, that you don't want people to know, you don't want to just be putting out there in the tool in the regular setting because it will get reused. So, super important. Don't ever give away what makes you unique. I said that a little bit earlier and I'm just double downing on that. Know what you're agreeing to, so review all privacy settings. Here's another thing I've used AI for. All those legalese things, every time you privacy policy, take those, upload it, and ask it to summarize it for you. You can get into the habit of that. We have to agree to so many things that are 20 pages long and nobody's reading it and it's making you sign that you read it. I mean, that stuff's ridiculous. I hope something changes with that. Be careful with random AI apps. So I wouldn't, there's a lot of generative AI stuff out there that's been used actually prior to these tools coming out, like on Facebook. There's these really neat tools, but guess what? They're taking your data and they're using it. And, they're collecting it and putting it in a repository. So, just be very careful about using random AI apps. I would just, if you don't know exactly what it's doing with your data, I would not use it. It may do something really cool, but I would just avoid it. Always review your AI outputs. I talked about that a couple times. Protect your unique voice and creativity. I've talked about that a couple times. And be adaptable. These tools, they update the model. And what worked yesterday may not work today. It doesn't happen that quick, but what worked last month may not work this month. So be adaptable. So when you're using, when you decide and figure out, hey, this really works for me, what do I want to use it for? Just know that it could change and you may have to change your prompt to get the same response. That's kind of been in the news lately where people were really upset when the tool went to a new model and then it wasn't doing, they had built I think all these processes around the tool and then they had to go rebuild them and they were really, really upset. I think they brought the old model back for that reason, but just be cognizant of that. So that is about it. Just to recap, broadband is what helps AI. AI empowers us as women, it empowers our businesses, and use it where you're comfortable. Be aware where you're not comfortable. Do that outside. Keep your creativity. Thank you.
Thank you, Sarah. And thank you all for coming today. I know the weather was not very nice out, but we do need the rain. And I wish all the rest of you a fabulous rest of the week and stay healthy and safe. Thank you.